Hey guys, welcome back to another Nested Photo School video. In today's video, we're going to be checking out the FX3. So what I've been experimenting with lately is, can you use the FX3 as your main photography camera? And today we're gonna be going out in the field, we're gonna go to a photo shoot, and we're gonna go to a portrait gig, and we're only gonna use the FX3 for all of that photography work. So the FX3 has turned out to be a really popular cinema camera. I wouldn't technically call it a cinema camera because there's a few key features missing, but in all intensive purposes, with how popular the A7S III is, it's in a more video-focused FX3 body. For me, I love this because it is more video-focused. It comes with the top mount. You can have 4 different audio inputs in. So you got the 2 XLR pieces. Up on the top here, you also have an 1/8 inch. And then you've got all your audio levels here. And here I've got the NTG3 shotgun mic. I'm actually looking at selling my A7S III because I do a lot of photography here, photographing real estate. 12 megapixels out of my A7S III really hasn't been an issue for me for real estate photography. But this fall, I've been doing some more family shoots, some more portrait shoots. And when I've been going in and doing touch up on skin correction and blemishes on skin, I find myself wanting some extra resolution for Photoshop work on skin blemishes. The A7 IV really has my interest perked, and I think that I could use that as my primary photography real estate to get a few more megapixels out of it. It's $1,000 cheaper too. And it can still shoot 10-bit internal video. I was like, what am I gonna use as my photography camera while I sell the A7S III? You know what? The FX3 comes with all of the photography settings internally. If I have a camera go down, and yes, it's happened where I've been out at a shoot, gust of wind, accidentally trip a tripod leg, camera falls over. We gotta have backups for that stuff. So over the last couple weeks, I've been experimenting and just shooting with the FX3 exclusively for all of my photography work. Now, the FX3 obviously is set up and geared more towards video with how everything is labeled here and big record button, zoom, but you still have all of your rockers here on the front and the back, where you can change your shutter speed, aperture, ISO. I've been able to use this as a photography camera. Now let's jump in and I'll show you step by step how I have my FX3 set up for photography. I have it set up for manual exposure. Now you have to make sure that you set up your creative look just to standard, because that was a mistake that I made at the beginning when I accidentally left on PP8, which is my S-Log3 profile, and then all of my images turned out ultra flat. All my photography presets are set up to be edited from the standard look profile. I like to shoot with steady shot on when I'm doing portrait photography. I like to have low drive mode, and I like to have continuous focus set up. Then if you jump back into mode, then I saved under my memory preset 1. I actually have my real estate photography set up in 1. So that way I can just instantly switch to it because it is set up for bracketing. I like to have my balance turned on so I can tell what's set up wide. I like to have it set up on a single autofocus setting. And then I have continuous bracketing set up at 2 stops between each image at 5 images. I always shoot my real estate photography in manual color balance. It just makes it a lot easier for the editing team in post. So I'll set it all in camera, and since I'm shooting everything on a tripod, I have my in-body image stabilization turned off. And I just keep my ISO on 200. I have my shutter set to here. I have my aperture set to here. And then to get into my ISO, I just press the function button and click on ISO to adjust it. But when I'm shooting real estate, I am rarely adjusting my ISO. I set my settings and forget it. The only thing I'm adjusting is my shutter. So when it comes to my shutter, I'm just adjusting my shutter settings here and when I'm taking my real estate photography. So right here, the FX3 already has a white balance button set up. So I just punch that, and so it can just quickly punch it and press over and adjust my white balance as needed while I'm on the fly. For real estate photography, man, the FX3 is set up just perfectly. From your auto white balance to your shutter control, ISO, and you can easily recall those photography settings with one of the memory modes. If you want to know where to go to get to those memory modes, if you go to your menu and you go up to the red menu and then drop down to the shooting mode, and you can actually set the camera memory to a specific slot. So for my photography on here, I have it set to memory slot number 1. For my video walkthrough settings, I have it set to memory slot number 2. For portrait photography, I just use the M mode for manual. So that allows you to easily switch back and forth. At a real estate shoot, often I'm switching back and forth between detail, which I use in my M mode. Memory set 1 is for real estate, and memory set 2 is for video walkthroughs. So let's go out in the field and check it out together to see if it can be just as functional as the A7S III out in the field. Let's hit the road and go check it out. With the FX3, it is a different body style. You know, it's definitely geared towards video. So you do lose the EVF, and some of the dials aren't as accessible as the A7S III, which is in a photo-centered body. As I've been photographing, even portrait shoots, I find myself just flipping out the screen, holding the camera out and dropping it down, getting different exposures. And when I'm doing real estate photography, I never use the EVF. And I normally don't shoot with this rig up here, but this is so I can do screen capture and so that you can see what I'm seeing. But normally it is just this small light package. And with that, the EVF makes it smoother, flatter. I got my white balance easily selectable on the button. I've got my shutter wheel and my trigger button for the pictures. It's perfectly set up to execute and get great real estate photography. Hey guys, we're here at our portrait shoot for OKC Real Producers Magazine. We're in this beautiful location. So we've got the FX3 all set up. I've got a Sigma 50mm 1.4 on here. I've got it locked into my portrait photography settings, and let's see how it performs. You can use the FX3 as your primary camera. I'm gonna be using the FX3 for the foreseeable future until my A7 IV comes in. Drop a comment down below. I'd love to hear what gear you're using, and if you have any thoughts on if the FX3 could be a perfect camera for your situation. If you found any information in this video useful, go ahead and drop a like below and subscribe. I can't wait to see you in the next video. Out.